Today I want to take a
This
look
video
at
looks
session
at the last part
2.1 in
of
tutorial
session
2,
2.1 in
and I'm
tutorial
going
2,
to look
starting
at
on page 71
some of
in
the
the
newer
textbook.
concepts.
So
I'm
the
not
first
going to
thing
go
that
through
I want
everything,
to look at
so
here is
you will
date
need to read your
formats.
book thoroughly.
So we're going to switch back to the documentation
The first
sheet.
thing that I want to do is do a little bit of work on this documentation worksheet, and you can see that I've already done some formatting with the fonts
currently you'll
and
see
with the fill
date
color in the
displayed
cells.
as 1/17/2013.
So what I want to do
whatever,
to this worksheet is to add a background
you happen to have in the
to
cell.
the entire worksheet.
And
to do that, I'm going to go to the page layout tab,
reading and from the
and
previous
I'm going
chapter,
to click on the background
dates
button.
are stored as numbers.
And then I will navigate to where the background image that I want to use is stored, and that might require going through the folders over here.
Which is important for loans.
But I am at the background image that I want, so I'm going to click on it and click Insert.
The date is stored as the number
of days, it just adds a
January 1st,
nice
1900.
professional looking parchment-like
appearance.
Format
the dates in
that
different styles.
Makes the workbook look
so
nice,
that's what we're going to do with
but
this
does not detract
date.
from the usability or the readability of the workbook.
Number format box and click
Next,
the down
I want
arrow.
to go to the yearly
And
sales worksheet, and I want to do some number formatting on this worksheet, as well as
change this
adding
to
a
the
few
long date,
formulas.
which spells out
and so the first
the
formula
day, the
that I
month,
want to
and
add
so forth.
is
So
a total row for both of these tables. So I'm going to start that process out by adding a total label, the word total,
is right aligned by default
to the region column.
And the text is left aligned by default.
Then
so
I'm going to go ahead and select cells C15
there.
and D15.
So I'm just going to click on
I
the
want
left
to
align
add
button
up
to
these
get that
columns.
date over lined
So
up with the
I'm
rest
going
of the
to
text.
go ahead and use a sum function.
Then I'm going to switch
So
to the yearly sales
I'm going to go to the Home tab, to the Editing group, and click the Auto Sum button.
I want to do is
and so that quickly adds the totals for me. I
also
need the totals down here in row 26,
so I'm going to
go ahead and click Copy with these two cells selected.
And then I'm going to click Merge and Center.
And then I'm going to select C26 and D26.
I also want to do some formatting over here.
So now I've got the totals filled in for both of those
tables. So I'm going to go ahead and select A6 through A15.
The other formulas that I want to add have to do
A17
with how much sales have increased from 2011 to 2012.
Simultaneously.
So I'm going to actually add two columns here.
So the
I'm
first
going
thing
to
I'm
add
going to
one
do is merge
where I
and center.
calculate the increase
And it
or the
merges
difference
all of those
between the
cells
2 years.
And centers the label
and I'm going
at the
to add
bottom
another one called percent increase,
cell, which looks kind of odd.
where I'm going to calculate
the percent. So we're going to do a little bit of further formatting to improve the appearance of those labels. The first thing I'm going to do is change the orientation of the text. So I'm going to go to the orientation button.
So I'm going to need column titles down here in row 17 as well. So I'm going to select these two titles
the text up
and go ahead and copy
makes the text completely vertical.
And then I'm going to
change the alignment.
So now I have column titles in both
of the text to middle align
tables,
which places the text
and then I'm first of all going to calculate the increase
vertically and horizontally.
And I'm going to do that simply by subtracting the 2011 sales from the 2012 sales. So I'm going to start out with my equal sign, and I'm going to use my mouse to write the formula. I'm going to click on cell D7,
that I want, and I want 5.
Type the minus sign, and then click on cell C7. So there's my formula.
There.
I'm going to press enter.
I then want to
now
change
I'm going to
the
calculate the
format
percent
of
increase.
These numbers slightly.
And if you've taken business math,
so I'm going to select
you probably remember doing percent of increase and decrease. And so to calculate the percent of increase or decrease, you
and launch the dialog
start
box.
out by dividing the difference
and this is the format
between the two items,
box.
in this
so
case the 2 years,
do number
by
formats,
the original item, in this case the year 2011.
You can add borders,
so I'm going to type my equal sign in cell F7.
You can also add cell protection, which
then I'm going to click on cell E7,
change the cell
type
so that
the division symbol,
no one can make any changes to it.
And then click on cell C7,
in other words,
and press enter.
So I'm going
there's
to work
those
on the
two
number
formulas. Now I need to get them into the rest of the worksheet.
Area here, I'm going
I'm going to select those two cells,
the format
E7
that's
and
currently
F7,
to this
and copy them.
particular range.
And I'm going to paste
click
them
on number.
into
Shows me a
E8
preview
through F15.
I want to make sure that it still says 0 decimal places.
And then I'm going to paste them into
the thousand separator or the
E18
comma
through
is still selected.
F26.
So here are different ways that this particular number
so
format
I quickly
can
have
display
all my
negative
formulas
numbers.
done.
Right now,
now we've got the numbers in, and they are right now in the general number format, as you can see up here in the number group on the ribbon.
However, for this particular
which
worksheet,
means
we want
they
to
don't
use
have
the
any
negative
particular
1234 format up at the top. So I'm
number style, if you will. And they are a little bit difficult to read because they're, for one thing, there's no thousand separator, no commas. And for another thing, it's not really clear
so the
what
next
kind
thing
of a
that I
number
want to do is
it is.
add
Is
some
it
borders
currency?
to my column
Is it a
label.
percent? So we're going to try to clarify that a little bit by using some number formatting.
Through F6 and then
so
C17.
the first thing I'm going to do is
so
select cell C7 through
Then
E15.
I'm going to go to the font group and to the borders button.
And I'm going
click
to
the down arrow
apply the
next
comma
to it for more
style
options.
to these numbers.
And then I'm going
And
to
what the comma
go
style
all the way down
does
to the
is
bottom
add
and choose more
commas
borders,
at
because this will open
the
up
various
the format
thousands
cells dialog
marks.
box on the border tab where I
So
can
I'm going to click on the comma. Now notice that it added 2 decimal places here, and since these are things, not money, we're going to
add a
decrease the decimal. So back up in the number group,
and the color
you've got these two buttons.
Green.
The first one is
so
increase decimal.
Color down arrow.
If you want more
and
decimal places,
the
second is
palette.
decrease for less decimal places.
And it
or fewer
previews the
decimal
color
places.
over here. And I'm just going to leave
So I'm going to
with the
click that
default,
twice to take
border
away
weight
those decimal places.
and border style.
And that makes
Then I'm going
the
to come over
information
here,
a
and this
little
is
bit
the
easier to
preview.
read.
And right now the border is grayed out.
Then I'm
so
going to go down
bottom
to
border, I'm
the
just going
revenue
to come down into this
table,
bottom area with
and
my mouse,
I'm going
and
to
I'm
select
going to click, and you see the preview of the border.
C18
Then go ahead and click OK.
through E26,
and that adds
and
a border
I'm going to do
on those cells.
the same thing. I'm going to click the comma style.
Then the last thing I want
this
to
time
do
I'm not
is show
going
you
to
a
decrease
different way
the decimal places
another way
because
to
since this
quickly
is revenue, we're talking about
format
money, so we're talking
different
about dollars and
selections
cents.
with the same format, and this is something that you've
Now
probably all
typically
used before.
in accounting in something like this,
149 or
the
150,
first row of the information
particularly
has dollar signs, and the last row of the information will have dollar signs.
So I'm going to switch back to the
so
documentation
that's the next thing
sheet.
we're going to do.
And I'm going to select cell A1 and A2
cells
where the titles are stored, the company name and motto.
E18.
And I want that company name and motto to be formatted
and
the same
I'm going
on
to
all of the
apply the accounting number format, which is the dollar sign.
So once I have that selected, I'm going to come up to the clipboard group and double click the format painter.
And I'm going to do the same thing to the total row.
And I'm double clicking the format
now, if I had
painter
remembered,
so that it will stay on. If I click
I could
it
have
once,
selected both of
my
those
format once.
ranges at the same time and done the formatting simultaneously.
So then I'm going to switch to the yearly sales worksheet, and I'm going to select cells A1
Over
and
here,
A2.
These numbers are percents, so we want them to look like percents.
The monthly sales worksheet.
So I'm going to go ahead and select
cells A1
F7
and A2.
through
and
F15.
Now I've painted that format. I'm done with format painter, so I want to make sure that I come back up to the clipboard group and click it, so I turn it off.
And I'm going to go up to the number group.
Now you probably noticed when we painted the format that the red font color did not paint. And so
this
we have to edit that.
I want to show some more decimal places, so I'm going to click the increase decimal button a couple of times.
And I'm in the monthly sales worksheet right now.
So now
double-clicking the cell
we've enhanced the readability of these numbers with some formatting.
The COMP portion of the name and change the font color. And then I need to remember to switch back to the yearly sales worksheet and do the same thing, make the COMP portion of the title red. There are a couple of other ways that you can quickly format, and those are explained in your textbook on page 80 and 81. And there are other methods that you can quickly format across worksheets, and we'll cover those in later tutorials. That covers the large portion of session 2.1. In the next video we'll cover the first session of, or the first part of session 2.2.